Hello, guys.
No, Greg, my coffee's not ready yet. Do an intro.
Why? Why?
Don't act nervous. I know your pink sock's hanging out, but put. My coffee's not done brewing yet, but this is the Pink Sock Podcast. Anything can happen. I got coffee brewing. I got an itchy butthole. I don't know what's going on, but we do have a Crypt Keeper in the backstage area. He doesn't look like the Crypt Keeper. I think this is what the Crypt Keeper looked like before he got all fucked up and old, I think. Here he is.
Hi, guys.
My boy.
Good morning, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How you doing? Yes, I am the reiteration of the Crypt Keeper. I'm the healthy version of him, you know.
Oh, okay. Well, he was healthy. I think he had, like, herpes of the face. But
the best of us. You're wearing a Steel Panther shirt, so you ought to know.
Yeah, I've got an itchy asshole and a crotch. I don't know what's going on, but I think I got it all from a Steel Panther show.
Yeah, in there.
So I got a question for you. You're into bodybuilding and working out and stuff. And AC Slade mentioned last week somebody blowing their asshole out from lifting weights. Have you had any mishaps while working out or accidents?
Myself personally?
Yeah. Or have you seen it?
I've seen some sketchy shit go down. I haven't seen anybody's asshole get blown out. I've had a client throw up on me before.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It was just I just got a splash of the residue, you know. It was kind of Exorcist-like, but that was cool. I deserved it. I was making her do really hard shit, and I think she was hungover. You ever have those hungover cardio workouts? Doesn't go well. But no, nothing that bad actually.
Splash of residue sounds like the new Misfits song.
I expect royalties from that, you know.
I love your Iggy Pop shirt, by the way.
Thank you. I decided to not be a poser and not wear my own clothing, so I figured I'd wear the Iggy Pop shirt. And if anyone doesn't know who this is, then they should stop listening to this and go listen to Iggy Pop.
Iggy Pop is one of the only men that has the balls at like 5 to still not wear a shirt.
Yeah, that's my inspiration for sure. That's cool.
And still in good shape.
All those years of coke and heroin will do that to you. I think you'll just have a permanently skinny physique.
You'll either be like Iggy Pop or like Kurt Cobain. There's no in between.
Yeah, right. Either one's fine. You know, they're both probably happy.
I heard Kurt Cobain just had to clear his head.
Yeah, dude, there's so many of those funny-ass Kurt Cobain, like, death jokes. Here's my favorite one. Ready? You want to know how they knew that Kurt Cobain had dandruff?
Because they found his head and shoulders behind his couch.
Yes. That's my favorite one. I'm glad you know that. Nobody knows that.
He had the
That's
JFK.
The first one for me.
Him and JFK had a lot in common.
If I was more of a Nirvana fan, perhaps I'd be kind of upset. But they never got me. I never got them as much. I've never gone into them too much. So.
I'm a Nirvana fan, but it's not too soon. It's been what, fucking like 25 years or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. You know.
That's like people that get upset about jokes about 9/11. It's been 20 years. We're good. Like we're fine now.
I'm all for the good too soon joke. So don't worry.
Oh, I love. Ever watch them roasts on Comedy Central?
No. No.
There was a roast one time on Comedy Central. It was like a few days after the death of Paul Walker. Like not even like it was like not even a week. And Jeff Ross went up there and he was roasting Alec Baldwin, I think. It might have been. He was like, Ludacris is here. He has that famous song, Move, Bitch, Get Out the Way. That's what Paul Walker should have said to the tree. And the whole crowd was like, woo!
Good. I respect the balls on that. You know what I mean? And for the name of comedy, I respect it. You know, rest in peace, Paul Walker.
He also he was the same guy that made fun of Gary Coleman not long after he died. He was like, Gary Coleman recently died from multiple aneurysms, which is kind of like different strokes.
Different strokes for different folks, right?
So you want to tell us a little bit about Death Comes Lifting? It's a
Sure.
workout. It's a podcast. What is it?
We're a universe. We're everything. We're an army. We're a community of fit misfits. Started it as a. Feel free to interject at any time during my spiel if you have any questions. But so long story short, I'm a personal trainer, strength and conditioning coach, nutritionist, all that shit. But also, more importantly, I'm a heavy metal, punk rock, and horror movie fan, nerd. Always have been. Always will be. Always will be the out of shape nerd kid. And I always felt like that, even in the fitness industry that I found myself working in. And once you're in the industry, you kind of are expected to kind of comply, kind of wear, Nike jumpsuits that are like $300 and like, all this shit. And I just never did, man. I never got down with it. And I was always searching for something I would like to wear. So I usually ended up just wearing like sweatpants and my old Iggy Pop t-shirts or something like that. I'm like, fuck, man, there has to be something out there that I would like to wear and people like me would like to wear. And there wasn't. So I said, fuck it, I'm going to do this myself. I always been kind of an artist, kind of a creative person. So we design all the designs and it started real small, just with like 2 t-shirts. And now merch seems to be like a side project. We do whatever we can. And it's become more about building a community and a podcast and the whole online presence. And it's been a real blessing to be a part of it, man. So that's my spiel.
So you took the best of like 3 worlds and combined it into one.
It's kind of what I did. I just wanted to work for myself. I wanted to do shit I like to do. And I like to work out and I like to rock out and I like to watch and read horror fucked up things. So I just made them all come together. And then I met somebody as cool as like the Do For You up there, Adam Gorak, all the way in Australia that supports it. So if it reached all the way to Australia, I knew I was doing a good job. So thanks, Adam. Thanks for the support.
All good, man. I believe I was like the first international order.
Yeah, you were the first international order.
It's weird. It's weird because Gurak and Kanak and Funky, all 3 were the first international warriors for us.
Really? That's cool. He knows where the good shit is.
For the next question, do you smell what the Gurak is cooking?
Always.
On his podcast, he does.
I think
on my podcast, I smell him.
I think it's hilarious. I think it's hilarious. Gurak is actually a cook.
It's great.
So, what's your favorite horror movie series?
I go back and forth between you mean series or movie? Or
like movie series, like that has more than one film.
Man, I would say whoever gave me a high five from India on the chat board, I give them a high five from the United States.
That was Kanak.
Kanak, my man, India, respect. My favorite horror movie is probably the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but just the first one. So I wouldn't consider that my favorite horror movie series. I would consider my favorite horror movie series probably the Halloween series.
I would say when it comes to the series, Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a hot mess, dude. It went from like horror to like family comedy to like
they're just still trying to figure out what to do with it. Every reboot, remake that comes out, prequels, like none of them can ever get it right. None of them could ever recapture that magic of the first one. I love how just deranged and fucked up it is. Like I think it's a comedy, basically. Like that's where my mind's at. Like that like dysfunctional family interaction. That's the kind of crazy psychological shit I love in horror movies. But I also, on the other hand, really love splatter films like Evil Dead and Return of the Living Dead and Dead Alive and all that stuff. The crazy over the top 80s shit. I think is also very funny and very cool too.
Are you a fan of what's the name of that? Full Moon Features? Ever watch their movies?
Yeah, they do like the Puppet Master and shit.
Yeah, Puppet Master. They did Ginger Dead Man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's cool. Charles Band, he's the guy behind that. I met him at a convention one time. It was pretty cool. He's real into it, man. Yeah. I love all that shit. I don't like to take my art or my movies too seriously. So anything in that vein, I'm here for sure.
I was watching the other day. It's a underrated film series, but I was watching Evil Bong the other day. I don't know if
that's not bad. Yeah, that's pretty good.
The first one's good. The second one's good. Anything after that, they just go way into another realm with it. Like,
was the third one not in 3D? Is that what they did? They do Evil Bong 3D, or am I thinking another thing? Yeah,
it was Evil Bong 3D, but it wasn't in 3D.
Yeah, it wasn't in 3D. I respect the move, but after that one, I checked out of the Evil Bong series. Ginger Dead Man though is up there. Is also up there for me.
My only complaint with Ginger Dead Man is Gary Busey was only in the first one.
Probably couldn't afford him after that, or he was in rehab. I also have doing this. We do like horror conventions all the time. So like whatever horror convention I can weasel my way into, I'm there vending just because I want to go as a fan because I'm a nerd also. And one time we were set up like basically in the same room as Gary Busey, and he would walk by our booth and just make like dead eye contact with us for like 15 seconds. Like, he'd just be like,
"That's terrifying."
Yeah, it's insane. And you don't know life until you've looked in Gary Busey's eyes for like 10 seconds. You know what I'm saying? He's like that. Like his hair's all fucked up and he's like a mess. But he seemed to be living his best life and making a lot of money behind on autographs and stuff.
He's terrifying.
I know. I respect that about him. Like he's a legitimately terrifying character. He's just doing his thing.
Did you ever watch his show I'm with Busey?
No, I never did. I don't watch TV. I don't like have cable. I'm old. You know what I mean? I'm a
bro. You can find it on YouTube. It's what it is there's this fan. He's like the biggest Gary Busey fan. They end up putting him in Gary Busey's house, and he's living with Gary Busey for like a month or something. And he shows up, and Gary tells him, just come into the house. He goes in the house, and Gary's like, who the fuck are you? And he starts cornering him. And the kid's like, and he's like, your name is Phil. And he starts naming everything about him, his mom's name, what his mom does for a living, all this shit. And he's like, what's your dream? He's like, what's your dream job? And he's like, I wanted to be a high school teacher. No, your first one. You wanted to be an astro engineer. And the kid was like.
That's amazing, dude. He's out of his mind. I love people like that. I mean, as long as he's healthy and not hurting anybody, it's okay.
Did you watch? He was at a roast one time, and he was like, Gary Busey's here. And he started roasting himself.
That's a power move. I would probably do the same thing if I showed up to the movie. What about his son, Jake Busey? He was in they brought him back in the new Predator movie, which is unfortunate because that movie sucked. But I liked how he kind of carried his father's legacy in the Predator series, which is also one of my favorite series / comic books / anything ever.
Predators. Predator's everything.
Predator is everything. Yeah, there would be no Death Comes Lifting without Predator at all. I probably wouldn't have ever wanted to work out if it wasn't for the you son of a bitch handshake and seeing the biceps.
I have a feeling I know the answer to this, but Kanak wants to know, what is the story behind your name, Death Comes Lifting?
Death Comes Ripping is my favorite Misfits song, and the Misfits and Black Sabbath are my two favorite bands. Mm-hmm. So that was a no-brainer right there. I actually I have drawings and stuff when I first came up with the concepts for this. I had Deadlift is the name for the company, and I was just like, at the end of the day, it just wasn't doing it for me, and I just was like shuffling through my iPod. Death Comes Ripping came on. I was like, yep, doing it. Death Comes Lifting. It was that easy. Didn't put much more thought into it. It was like abracadabra.
Well, Mike came up with one last week, and I think you will dig it. It's Death Comes Socking.
Yeah.
Death Comes Anything. More people than you think have sent me shit like Death Comes This, Death Comes That. It's hilarious. Some people just stop at Comes. Some people change the spelling. It Comes.
But this would be a crossover of Pink Sock and Death Comes.
Yeah, let's do it.
Death Comes Socking. Death Comes Socking. It's when you lift and you get that pink sock action from too much lifting.
That's a very possible thing. And we sell products to protect you from that. DeathComesLifting.com. My man Knack down there wants to know if I've watched The Human Centipede, and the answer is yes, I have watched The Human Centipede, and I like it.
Have you seen all of them?
I have, and I like the second one the best because it's the most grotesque for sure.
The third one went too far in prison.
Yeah, it was just too goofy. I mean,
Yeah.
it sounds like dumb for me to say because I'm all about the goofiness, but the second one was the perfect sweet spot. It was realistic and gory and just insane. And the first one was just it was good. It was good. It was just a little too slow and psychological and weird, but so I like the second.
I love how the answer, you were like saying it like a pure badass. I've seen Human Centipede and I fucking loved it.
Most people get, well, I was fucking grossed out.
Now, part of it.
You know what's ironic though, Zach, is I just moved out here to Phoenix, Arizona, and I'm actually from Ohio, about an hour and a half from you.
Where at?
In a little town of Belmont, Ohio. It's near St. Clairsville.
Okay, yeah. I've been all over Ohio, man. I'm sure I know it. Yeah. So, what brought you out to Phoenix? How is it out there? I've never been. That's one of the few places I've never been.
Buddy of mine and my roommate, my buddy, fellow co-host, he's not on here today because he has something going on with school. He came out here to go to MMI motorcycle school, and I'm like, he's like, I need a roommate. Do you want to come? I'm like, fuck it. No plans, but let's do it. I've never been to Arizona.
Sweet, man. How do you like it?
I love it, but the fucking sun can go fuck itself.
Yeah. I hear it's a big deal. I hear it's a desert out there. I hear you can die out there.
Yeah, you can. It was 103 degrees last week. It's supposed to be 120 this summer.
Don't go lifting in that weather in the desert.
Don't go hiking.
Don't do it. Never.
You know you're in the desert when you have warning signs on hiking trails. It says do not hike from this time to this time during these months.
I'm impressed that they have that. That's pretty good because my dumbass would go out there and be like, let's go hiking. And never come back.
That should be a new horror movie.
It probably is a horror movie. There's so many.
Hiking in the desert.
The opposite of Frozen, when they get stuck on the ski lift in the snow and the wolves come for them. To be like, we're stuck on a hiking trail and there's a bunch of scorpions or something.
Since you're into the funny type of comedy, is there any horror movies that is just too much? Way too silly?
No. There's nothing that comes to mind. Way too silly you mean?
Way too silly.
I mean, some of like the parody movies, like they're like that's their whole shtick is to be intentionally too silly, like like the scary movies. Like I like the first two, 3, 4, 5. I feel like they're just too dumb. Yeah, I don't really think those are hilarious, but that's kind of like their thing. I can't blame them for it,
I think they've made too many fucking parody movies.
Yeah, there's that too. You can't just one up them. But no, all the crazy like 80s slasher, slapstick comedy, horror movies, Evil Dead especially. The more the merrier, in my opinion. I think there needs to be a resurgence of that. I think modern horror really takes itself way too seriously, and it's just become kind of pretentious. Like I love the movies, like The Witch and Hereditary. All that stuff is cool, but it's also just kind of like I feel it's just a little pretentious. Like, oh, this is just a good movie. It's like you can fucking have fun too. So it's entertainment, as long as it doesn't suck. Which I'm gonna go on a tangent about modern horror movies for a second. I've had too much coffee in me, but it's either like it really sucks or it's really lame. It's PG-13, right? Or it's like some art house 2.5 hour like masterpiece of a psychological thriller that wants to be The Shining or something. And I feel like we can just have a happy medium somewhere. And that's what we're trying to do here at Death Comes Lifting. We're just trying to be the happy medium between horror and funniness and also helping people and putting out entertaining content.
Speaking of horror movies, many years ago, a friend of mine showed me this movie, and I'm like, it's never going to have a sequel because it sucks. And it spawned like 6 fucking sequels.
Fast and Furious.
No. Paranormal Activity.
Oh, yeah. See, I like the first one.
Same.
I don't like their other ones, but yeah.
Was it the second one where they just watched a fucking pool vacuum the whole goddamn movie?
Yeah. I was out after that one. The first one works well. It's like kind of I understand why you wouldn't like it, but those like kind of low budget found footage-esque movies like the Blair Witch and things like that, if they have the right kind of vibe and the right recipe, I think they work really well. I thought the first Paranormal Activity was cool. It makes you use your imagination, especially when like the hooves appear on like the baby powder or whatever. I was like, yeah, that was cool.
It was better than the others. I had a friend that forced me to watch 2 more, and I'm like, fuck you, we're not friends anymore. I haven't talked to him since.
That's a bad friend. That's a bad friend for sure. What about you? What's your preference? Like, what's your favorite horror movie?
My favorite horror movie of all time is probably, I really like Devil's Rejects and House of a Thousand Corpses.
Yeah, I'm a huge Rob Zombie fan. Those are definitely up there for me as well. Same reason why I like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The Devil's Rejects to me is an extension of that whole spirit. You know, it's like a deranged family Western on a murder spree, which is basically what the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is. And Rob Zombie kind of embodies that whole aesthetic perfectly, especially in that one. And I really like Rob Zombie. I don't know how you guys feel about him. I think he's hit or miss in the horror world. You either love him or hate him. But
Very underrated.
I love Rob.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he's great.
What are you saying, Greg?
Very underrated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially his movies later on.
He doesn't get much credit, though. That's the thing.
Right, I know. Especially his movies later on, like after he did, like, well, the horror community is still very divided on his Halloween remake and sequel to that, which I understand. I love him too, but I think after that he kind of got out of the mainstream, went independent more or less with his films, and he doesn't get as much credit for those ones. But like the Devil's Rejects, or not, I'm sorry, the Lords of Salem, which came after Halloween 2. That's a fucking good modern psychological horror movie.
Good
you know,
mind.
everyone will talk about Hereditary, but like the Devil's Rejects to me was like the Ken Russell movie that Ken Russell never made or something. It's pretty sweet.
I would like to see Rob Zombie. Sorry, Mike.
I would love to see Rob Zombie do a season of The Witch.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Hell yeah, man. That'd be fucking great. Anything like that. I really like The Three from Hell. I know a lot of people didn't like that. I thought he did a great job with that one.
Well, the thing with Rob Zombie with 3 from Hell is I watched this documentary on it because, as you already know, when the movie came out, it was in theaters for 3 days.
Right.
And each day the fans got something special. Well, we went for the 3rd day, and you got the documentary of the movie at the very end.
Sweet.
And Rob Zombie explained how all of his movies, except for anything after Lords of Salem, was done on film.
Okay.
The old-fashioned way. And in this movie, he didn't. So he had to work with that. And Sid Haig came to him, who was a main role in this movie originally, and said that he's too sick. He can't do heavy lifting. He can't do anything physical. So Rob had to write as he was filming around that.
Yeah, that's insane. So the fact that it was that good just makes it all the more better that he had to work around all that.
Yeah.
Obviously, it would have been better with Sid Haig, but what can you do? The poor guy, you know what I mean?
Right.
That he first should be lucky and thankful that he made it into the movie, you know, and he looked like he was about to die when you see him there. So that's kind of sweet at the same time, you know.
I think he had one of the best lines in the series in that movie. He's like, "I'm just a clown dancing for the sins of mankind." And like,
right, yeah. That whole beginning when there was like kind of a connection to the Manson murder trials and like creating the whole hysteria around their, you know, sentencing. I thought that was fucking brilliant. That was awesome.
I actually thought that when I was watching him, like, this is very Manson-esque. Like,
yeah, and you know, any Rob Zombie fan will probably know that Zombie's a huge like Manson freak, and he's a fanatic and all that stuff. So if that was his love letter to that was a brilliant job. I love that movie. And his wife, Sherry Moon, was so good in that. You know, her with the fucking bow and arrow and the whole Native American headdress. That's like some of the coolest imagery ever.
So with Rob Zombie, since we're on Rob, he has got a new movie he's working on, the new Monsters. What do you think of that?
I hear it's for streaming services. I don't know. All I read was headlines. I didn't look into anything like that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's going to be on streaming services.
I think the only announced cast member, I could be wrong, I think the only announced cast member is Sherry Moon Zombie as Lily Munster. That
makes sense. I mean, that's what I would expect. Hey, I know that Zombie is a huge Monsters fan. He owes a lot to that. Mm-hmm. You know, his most successful song is Dragula, which if it wasn't for the Monsters, he might not be, you know, that was his first hit as a solo artist that kind of kept him on the skyrocketing. So I think he would treat it with respect, and it would probably be interesting. So yeah, I'm down for that. I don't really watch too much streaming shit though, to be honest, but I'll check it out for that.
I would like to see him do Addams Family.
Oh yeah, that would be really cool. I hear Tim Burton. I just read on the internet some headlines, but isn't Tim Burton like doing a Addams Family thing for Netflix or a Wednesday Addams?
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I don't know if it's like animated or if it's like live action. If it's live action, they should have Danny DeVito as Uncle Fester.
Boom.
Yeah, they were saying that Johnny Depp would be good. Would be Gomez.
No, Johnny Depp should be everyone.
Yeah, what Johnny Depp and I always forget what's Tim Burton's wife's name that he puts in every movie too.
I forget her name,
I
but it's
forget too. All respect to Tim Burton's wife. Sorry, but hey, if Johnny Depp's not available, Tim Burton, if you're listening, I can step in if you need it.
The thing with Tim Burton is it's kind of weird. He always has Johnny Depp in his movies. He always has his wife, and 9 times out of 10, Johnny Depp and Tim Burton's wife are a love interest.
Yeah, maybe it's kind of a low-key fetish for him. Who knows?
I mean, who doesn't want to watch their wife get pegged by fucking Johnny Depp?
Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street. I mean, I can see it. I can see it happening.
I
love that movie.
I do too.
Did you hear about when Johnny Depp was in Hollywood Vampires? He wanted Alice Cooper to sing Heroes, and Alice is like, no, that's a you song, and Johnny's like, I don't sing. And fucking Alice is like, you were in Sweeney Todd.
That's awesome. No, I never heard that story, but he does Heroes perfectly. You don't need to sing that song. You can just kind of like talk like a vampire and get the point across like David Bowie.
Yeah, David Bowie was a great singer, but he didn't have to sing.
No, he didn't. Especially that song. On that whole record, really. And are you a David Bowie fan?
I love David Bowie wrote the 80s.
Yeah, dude, David Bowie's the shit.
If a song wasn't written by David Bowie in the 80s, it was written by Prince.
Absolutely. So, you're familiar with his albums that they call the Berlin trilogy, right? Which is like Heroes, It's Low, Station to Station, and like those are really dark, crazy albums that he doesn't really sing on, or when he does, he doesn't have to. Mm-hmm. Those like kind of they gave birth to like post-punk. You know, that I feel like Johnny Depp can do any of those songs, and I resonate with that. I
love Johnny. It was crazy because a lot of people, when he announced he's with the Vampires, they're like, Johnny Depp plays guitar? I'm like, where have you been? Like, he's played for Manson. He's played for Cooper a few times. Like, he's a guitarist. He has been for years. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, from what I know, he came to Hollywood like with a band, like to become like successful as a musician, and acting came later. Yeah, so he's rock and roll through and through. Respects to Johnny Depp here for sure. One of his first acting roles was in a Tom Petty music video, and then A Nightmare on Elm Street, right? Yep, right after that. But before that, he was in 21st Jump Street, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Which I to be honest, I've never watched it. I've seen clips like with him in it on YouTube, but I've never watched like the show, so I can't comment on that one. You should watch the movie. I've seen the movie, yeah. Like the new one with Channing Tatum. Yeah, I've seen that. Fucking Channing Tatum's like, I'm gonna beat your dick off. I'm gonna beat it off with both hands. Yeah. That was actually. I remember being surprised at how much I liked it. One of those. Johnny Depp was in it, and that was a really good ode to the original. Yeah. I'd like to see Johnny Depp do some more cool shit in the movie industry here soon. Well, with the whole Amber Heard shit, that's kind of hard for him. But I heard he's getting a lot of his roles back because he's going to be a liar. Right. Yeah. I feel like whatever, man. They didn't prove anything during that. I feel like she's crazy. Right. Maybe I don't know. I heard a rumor that he's back to being Captain Jack Sparrow. That's good. He probably needs the cash. Good for him. Well, the original idea was they were getting rid of Johnny to replace him with freaking Robert Pattinson. I'm like, no. I lost track of those movies too, bro. Didn't Jack Sparrow die? Isn't he dead or no? I haven't seen the last ones. I didn't either. I thought they killed him off, but yeah, they can always bring him back. This is Hollywood. This is there's no written deaths here. Like Mortal Kombat, it doesn't matter. Just keep bringing them back. Keep on bringing.
Maybe
What do you
he'll
think?
come back in the next Mortal Kombat movie. Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp is in Mortal Kombat 2. What character would he play, boys?
In Mortal Kombat 2, just have him be Captain Jack Sparrow. Because
Yeah,
look at
there's
how the games are.
He could just be Captain Jack Sparrow. Yeah. Downloadable content.
Yeah.
At the very end of the movie, you have fucking like everybody fighting, and then Johnny Depp's like running around with a jar of dirt.
Yeah.
Schmidt fucked the captain's daughter. Schmidt fucked the captain's daughter. Channing Tatum from 22nd Jump Street.
Thank you for that commentary, sir. Yes.
So is there any like obscure movies that you want people to check out? Like not so popular?
Yeah, I should have this. What?
Black Sheep. Go
Black
check
Sheep.
out
That's
that
what I
guy.
was gonna say, man. You took the words right out of my mouth. Black Sheep was a great. That's New Zealand, though, right? Aussie,
Yeah.
is it?
Yeah.
New Zealand.
New Zealand. It's shapes, bro. Come on.
Yes. There's that. There's I've been down a Texas Chainsaw rabbit hole. Speaking of Texas Chainsaw, because our next we do YouTube series and stuff, and I kind of try to make our themes either parallel to a horror movie. Our last thing was Mortal Kombat. This is going to be Texas Chainsaw Massacre, so we're going to have Texas Chainsaw Massacre shirts coming out and stuff. So I was reading up on Tobe Hooper, the director, and he has a little-known movie he made right after Texas Chainsaw Massacre called Eaten Alive, about a guy that has a killer crocodile in a pool behind this hotel that he runs. And Marilyn Burns from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is in it. And it's really bad and it's really sleazy. And I really recommend that everybody check that one out for sure.
What movie was that?
Eaten Alive.
That sounds kind of like similar to that. What fucking horror movie was it that Betty White was in? Oh fuck! She feeds. She kills people and she feeds them to her alligator in a pond out in her backyard.
I might have not seen this one.
It's a Betty White movie. She's only in the first one, but they spawned sequels. But the most famous line that she ever said is in it. She's like, "If I had a dick, this is where I tell you to suck it."
Oh, really? That's
Yeah.
really interesting. That's cool. Yeah, I'll have to figure out what that is. That's awesome.
Hold on, I could figure it out. We have
Yeah,
Google. We have the internet.
I don't know. I kind of always feel like, like a horror movie fan poser for not having like a real good answer to
Lake
the
Placid.
horror movie. Oh, is that Lake Placid? Okay, cool.
Lake
Yeah, Lake
Placid.
Placid's awesome. No, Eaten Alive is way worse than Lake Placid. It's way worse. It's great. And even his movie in the 80s called The Fun House, not a lot of people know about. Have you ever seen The Fun House?
No.
Maybe it's just Fun House. So Tobe Hooper.
Massacre?
What?
Is it Fun Ass Massacre?
No, just Fun House.
Okay.
About these kids sneak into a fun house, like a local carnival or whatever, and it's ran by like this deranged father figure and like his disfigured son, and his disfigured son is like a Frankenstein kind of character, and it's a cool take on a slasher movie. It's really creepy, especially there's like a whole lot of carnival imagery and things like that. We just watched that the other night, so that's fresh in my mind. Fun House is really sick.
That sounds like a Charles Band movie.
Yeah, definitely.
Interesting.
You would know if you've seen it, Renee Mitchell. If you think you've seen it, you haven't seen Funhouse.
Another good movie that I like, since we're talking about hidden gems, Head of the Family.
The what?
Ever watch Head of the Family?
Yes.
That's another good one.
Yeah, that's a good one. What about Cannibal Holocaust? That's not necessarily a hidden gem, but that's fucking hardcore.
Cannibal Holocaust, is that what you said?
Yeah, you don't know about Cannibal Holocaust?
I do know. It was banned in like 13 countries or some shit.
Yes, and we also have a program called Abdominal Holocaust on the Lifting Dead Army's Patreon page, in which you can get just as shredded as those people do in that movie.
If you are looking for him on social media or Patreon, we have Death Comes Lifting on Facebook,
Man. Cool.
Instagram, Twitter, Patreon, and even their official website. This guy's got it all. He's got workouts. He's got butthole cream. He's got all kinds of stuff.
Yes, we do. We're coming out with more creams. We're coming out with more. We're coming out with makeup for the gym, waterproof makeup for our goth friends.
And you're
just
coming
do
out with
some-
a coffee as well, too, correct?
Yeah, and a coffee. I was getting to that. Thank you, Do For You. We got a high caffeine blend coffee. Yeah, coffee is my favorite coffee ever, and I'm not even going to attempt to compete with the man AC Slade. All respects to AC Slade. Hail. I just signed up for his that Cheaters Club. It's like $30 a month, and you get sent a bag of coffee and a sweet treat from him and stuff.
Yeah, I saw that.
He's the coolest. So yeah, I will not stop supporting Catfight Coffee when Death Comes Lifting coffee comes out, but I will strongly urge you guys to try both. Maybe
Right.
Why not mix them?
mix them. Yes, if Catfight Coffee isn't doing it for you, Death Comes Lifting's high caffeine blend will just give you a little kick in the ass you need before your deadlifting session or something.
How
Just
high caffeine are we talking? Is it going to be
I'll go
like
as
Death
high.
Wish?
Yeah, yep. It's gonna be formulated for like pre-workout purposes. Get it?
So you should have like a high caffeine and then a really high caffeine and call it almost cocaine.
Yeah, I like your idea. We'll go over marketing specifics later for that one. But
Not
we'd see
quite.
like a Frankenstein character using a hollowed out bone to kind of snort a line of brown coffee. Almost, yeah.
And then have like a weaker coffee, like the least strong one, but call it not so decaf.
Yeah, there you go. Easy. I feel like with a name like Almost Cocaine, not so decaf has to be a little more offensive. But we'll work on that one.
Almost cocaine.
Yeah, right.
Snortable capsules. Coming towards you.
Hey, I like it, boys. I like it. But yeah, we're still a little bit away. I'm still testing those out. I want to make sure it's like perfect before I put it out there. If it's not something I'd want to drink every day, I wouldn't want to sell it. So I'm just being picky about it, but it's coming soon.
Since everyone's getting into this whole coffee and podcast thing, I need to make my own coffee.
Yeah, you do. We'll wait for you.
Yeah, pink sock coffee.
Pink
That
sock
could
coffee.
work.
Sounds tasty.
Yeah, it's not. It's for your best pink sock needs. It's pink sock coffee.
I love it, man. I love it. What is your preferred blend of coffee if you have one?
Right now, I've been drinking the Night of the Living Dead black pumpkin coffee
That's very good.
from Catfight. I've also been drinking the morning blend, but I'd like to try other stuff. I really like the hazelnut too.
That's cool. Yeah, I like their espresso a lot. I think it's called.
Same.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I'm not huge on the flavored coffee stuff, but they do it right. It's very subtle. So if we ever get into any flavored coffee, that's definitely the way I'd go to.
Since we are talking coffee, I did ask AC this last week, and I'll ask you: have you had Kupaluak coffee?
What is it?
Kupaluak, and do you know what that is?
Is that the coffee that's made from shit?
It's made from excrement of a wildcat.
Right.
Chivet.
I knew about it. I can't say I've ever had it, but I totally want to. I would totally do it. I'm totally game. Where can we try this?
It is $50 to $100 a cup.
Oh, well, maybe on vacation or something.
But you can get the cheaper coffee that is called Black Ivory. It is made from elephant excrement.
Where can you get it? Can you just order this, or do you have to get it made on site with excrement?
I think there's companies that sell it online.
Okay. Maybe I should say
Right.
that and charge like people $100 a bag for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I should be a scumbag like that and be like, hey, this is made with shit, but it's really not. And just not charge it.
I don't think they'd know the difference. But
That's what I'm saying. I probably wouldn't know the difference. So I don't know. I'm going to go to a reputable dealer before I try that.
I have an idea. When I come back to Ohio, we should do like an in-person thing, and we should try Kupaluak coffee.
Let's go. I'm in.
Let's do it. Garak, you want to fly to the United States? We're going to try some cat shit coffee.
Yeah.
He's in.
AC Slade, do you have Catfight coffee? You should make your own your brand called Cat Shit Coffee.
Did he say if he's had it?
He's had it, and he actually thought about bringing it to Catfight, but it's just not cost effective.
Did he say it was good?
He said it just tasted like coffee.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
But
I imagine it's really good because, like, why would it be that expensive and that sought after if it wasn't? You know.
Well, do you know why they feed it to the cat?
No.
Because as you know, to make coffee, you have to peel the cherry and you have the seed inside.
Sure.
Well, if you feed it to the cat during the digestion process, it peels the cherry for you.
Oh, I like it. That's pretty effective.
And
so the cat's like stomach acid just does the job, so you don't have to.
Yeah, but that's like pure lazy. That's
yeah. Yeah. What dude figured that out? Like, fuck this. I'm not peeling coffee. I'm feeding it to the cat and just digging through its shit instead.
I don't think they dig. I think it comes out in like
just like a real thing.
Yeah, it comes out looking like a payday bar.
I'm all about it. I'm all about it, man. Let's do it.
We're gonna end up doing that, but we're gonna look like Austin Powers when he was in like drinking that fucking
drinking the shit. Does this coffee taste like shit? Yeah. Oh yeah, someone commented Austin Powers. There you
go. This coffee tastes like shit, Basil, because it is Austin.
Yeah, it is shit, Austin. Yeah.
Oh,
his movies are great. All of them. Love Austin Powers. All that's good to me for sure.
Mike Myers was gonna make a fourth one, I read somewhere, but it never came to light.
It's a shame, man. I mean, if he can resurrect Wayne's World for like a Pepsi commercial or whatever the hell that was, I think you should bring back Austin Powers.
Well, he returned as Dr. Evil on Saturday Night Live a couple years ago.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that. I wonder what's stopping him.
What's stopping him not only is Vern Troyer dead, who's Mini-Me. Before he died, he was going to make the movie, but he had no real ideas because Fat Bastard is skinny, Dr. Evil is good. Like, where do you go from there? And he was going to make the movie be the other three movies, kind of like a prequel, but everything is from Dr. Evil's vision.
Yeah.
Like how he saw everything, because you're following Austin Powers in the series. This was going to be more of a Dr. Evil thing.
Well, maybe it'd be funny if Austin Powers and Dr. Evil were a team fighting a new bad guy, and they kind of had Fat Bastard on their side. That would be no problem.
Scott's evil now.
Yeah. He could be. He could have murdered Mini-Me, and that's how they would weave Vern Troyer's death into the story, and then they'd continue from there. I should write this movie. Come on.
Or they could do a Star Wars type thing and just freaking CGI them.
Or just put them all in a Mortal Kombat 3. I'm campaigning for more Mortal Kombat movies, boys. Let's do it.
I read somewhere, and I think it was Tony that told me, there is the guy that plays Sub-Zero has signed on for like 4 or 5 films.
Yeah, I've heard that. Joe Taslim, or however you say his last name.
Yeah,
he's badass, dude. So, did you see the movie?
I loved it.
I loved it too.
Who do you think's going to play Johnny Cage?
Ryan Reynolds.
Danny DeVito.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I want. I don't know who I'd want to play Johnny Cage. That's a tough one, man. That's a tough one. I hope they do his character right. I think like you risk with Johnny Cage him being too much of a douche to be like unlikable. Mm-hmm. And like in the first couple games and stuff, like I feel like he's cool, and then they kind of make him like this like crazy over the top diva character that I don't think is too likable, even especially in the movies. So I don't know. I think they got to be careful with Johnny Cage. That's my advice to you, Mortal Kombat producers. Tread lightly, and don't sleep on Master Dan Pacino, who portrayed him originally, and he was on our podcast. And that dude's badass. I want him to play Johnny Cage.
Did you hear who they're talking about playing Johnny Cage? Which I think would be an all right, but it doesn't match his look. But they're talking about The Miz.
Yeah,
I saw that. I mean, that would make sense, to bring a wrestler in. Like at this point, why not? If he could pull it off. Hey, I got no dog in the fight.
His character in wrestling just makes sense. He's this cocky douchebag.
Sure. So they probably will do that, but I'm thinking the real question is, how are they bringing back Sub-Zero? Noob Saibot. He's coming back as Noob Saibot in the next one for sure.
Yeah, I read they actually did an article about the second Mortal Kombat, and that is the idea.
Is it? Sweet.
Yeah, the idea. And they're also going to do kind of like the Star Wars thing where they're looking for Luke Skywalker. They're going to do that with Johnny Cage. They're going to be looking for Johnny Cage, and he's going to like appear like halfway through the movie.
I like it. I like it. I'm also campaigning to get a role in that one. So if anybody out here is listening, Death Comes Lifting wants to be in Mortal Kombat 2 or 3.
Death Comes Lifting is going to be in every movie next year.
Yeah, we're worldwide takeover. I know they did a lot. Didn't they do filming for Mortal Kombat in Australia, Adam?
They did, yeah, in South Australia.
All right, so this is your
I
time.
don't know if it was before or maybe during the pandemic-ish, because it wasn't that bad in Australia.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And the director is Australian too, so that explains it.
Well, this is your time as the Australian leader of the Lifting Dead Army to campaign to get yourself a role when they film down there, at least as an extra. So
yeah. Even for the Matrix movie as well.
Yes. Yeah, we talked about that.
We're trying to get the Crypt Keeper on John Wick and to play young Keanu Reeves.
I'm in, bro. Tell me where and when. I'll be there. I'll do it for free. I love John Wick.
I'm actually petitioning right now to be in a Weird Al Yankovic biopic.
There you
I
go.
was supposed to be in the Young Rock.
Yeah.
I didn't get in. Yeah.
Yeah. This is so we got The Rock, Keanu Reeves, and Weird Al Yankovic on the same podcast.
Well, Mick Foley.
Mick Foley. You know who I get a lot? I get Claudio Sanchez. If you don't know who that is, he's the singer of Coheed and Cambria.
Yeah. Okay, I can tell. It's the hair, for sure.
I get anybody who has a beard and long hair. Like, I get Bob Ross a lot. I
love that, dude. I was cracking up with the intro to this when your face was on Bob Ross. I'm a big Bob Ross fan.
Do you think he might have been a serial killer?
Potentially. But that doesn't make me like him any less.
Because there is this funny conspiracy theory that Bob Ross was a serial killer and he was painting where he hid the bodies.
Could be. Makes me kind of like it more if it's true.
I'm going to paint this happy little tree. And if you tell anybody about this tree.
Think positive thoughts. It's okay. Don't be suspicious. Don't think suspicious thoughts. He's a mind control artist. Don't sleep on Bob Ross.
Do you think he was a stoner? He had to have been.
Absolutely, right?
Yeah, like paint trees and talk real calm.
You can't paint like that, look like that, and act like that, and tell me with a straight face that you don't know what weed and Pink Floyd sounds like. You know,
I have an idea for a coffee, cannabis coffee. Let's do it. Can of coffee.
Cannabis Corpse.
Cannabis Corpse is a good band.
They are a good band, actually. I don't know. Will cannabis coffee, will that work? Has that been a proven theory? I haven't dove in. The
only way that you can get cannabis coffee to work is you would have to use canna butter and combine it with the coffee grounds.
Like bulletproof coffee?
Yeah.
But cannabis butter?
Yeah, with cannabis butter. Or you have the butter come with the coffee and they can add it to the already brewed cup. That's the only ways that it would work. Okay.
Well, I like that. I say let's move ahead with theory 2. So we got cannabis butter and shit coffee coming at you from Pink Sock. Everybody look for Mortal Kombat 4.
You're going to drink some Koopa Luwak coffee that also is cannabis infused because you're going to need to be high to drink this shit, literally.
And then we'll teach you Kung Fu while we audition and train for John Wick 4. Yeah.
And Kanak in the chat, yes, Cannibal Corpse is a good band, but we were talking about Cannabis Corpse. They're a stoner, heavy metal, death metal band that they don't parody Cannibal Corpse songs, but they parodied the name.
Yeah, the name and the art, but their songs sound totally different. They're actually really good, man. They're a very, very good standalone band. They've since branched out from Cannibal Corpse into like Deicide and Morbid Angel parodies, which is really cool. I think their last album was called like Beneath Grow Lights Thou Shalt Rise, Nug So Vile. I appreciate those. For sure.
Did you know that the former guitarist of Cannabis Corpse is the current guitarist of Gwar?
Yes, I did know that. I haven't kept up with Gwar too heavily after Dave Brockie's passing. Rest in peace. But I always love seeing them and keeping up with them. I'll go see them all the time and not know the new songs. So.
I figured you'd be a Gwar fan. You can't be a horror fan and a metal fan and not respect Gwar.
Right. And if you don't like Gwar, I mean, for the same reason that you won't like Evil Dead or anything like that, like you just take it too seriously. It's not meant to be taken seriously. It's such a theatrical performance. Gwar live is incredible, and anybody that denies that's just wrong. Sorry.
Well, Gwar also does the best interviews. They have the best mythos. Like they have a full backstory. Like they have it all.
Yeah. No, that they did it well, and I totally appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. And it's hard to find an interview with them out of character.
Yeah. I know he did. Dave Brockie did something for. I didn't really see it. He was Oderus Urungus in it though. It was for Adam Green, the director of like the Hatchet movies. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it was some show he did, but he was the character in it. But there's behind the scenes that he's Dave Brockie, and he seems pretty sweet.
I saw him break character once, and it was on the Jerry Springer show. I don't know if you watched when he was on it. This mom was like, "There's a lot of violence in your act. Well, what's the point of the violence? Blah blah blah." And Dave Brockie, in character but not, was like, "Okay, would you rather the violence in the Bible be censored? Because if you want to censor us, then you might as well censor the Bible. Would you rather us make fun of violence, or would you rather the violence in your household when you and your husband are arguing in front of your children? Like, real life is 10 times more violent than we fucking are." And then, he's like, "We just make fun of it."
Like, bro, isn't that what all horror movies are? Really, we were talking to Matt Harvey of Exhumed. I don't know if anybody here is familiar with that band. They're an underground like splatter metal band. All their songs are about horror movies. Very gory, very gross, very offensive. We were talking about horror movies, and especially, I like the goofy shit. It's not meant to be taken seriously. But at the end of the day, it really is a safe outlet to digest violence and deal with the harsh realities of the world in a way that you're safe from and that you can be entertained by and you can laugh at. So I think that is a very serious aspect of those sort of Gwar and movies like Gwar and things like that we may think of as stupid, but they're very important.
Like, would you rather a kid take out the anger and the violence and see the violence at a Gwar show, or would you rather them see it in their own school?
Exactly. Right. Yeah, you're gonna know how to deal with the harsh realities of existence one way or the other. So I'd rather even other than watching the news. You can turn on the news and find way more horrific shit than even in Cannibal Holocaust. If you ask me.
I would rather Gwar do what they do than G.G. Allen do what he did.
Yeah, for sure. There's a line. There's definitely a line. There's definitely an entertainment factor. But Gwar, the shock rock artists like Zombie and Alice Cooper, Marilyn Manson, and all those guys, I think they hold a very special place in my heart for that reason.
I saw this really cool interview. It was I do respect Lordi as a band, but I guess Lordi came out like 9 years ago and it was like, we're better than Kiss and Alice Cooper combined. And I don't know if they said that to be controversial or if they really felt that way, but they interviewed Alice about it, and Alice started laughing, and he's like, I remember Lordi. He's like, I saw them in 1987. Oh wait, that was Gwar.
Nice. Good for him. Alice is the man. He's the GOAT for sure. He is the GOAT.
Holy shit.
And yeah, anybody that says they're better than Alice Cooper, they better be joking about it, if you ask me. I think they are. Lordi, being the nature of their act, I would hope that they were joking about that.
I would hope, because they're basically like, instead of aliens, they're monsters, but they're pretty much like a Gwar ripoff.
Yeah. I mean, good for them for making it that far with that theory, but
the only difference is nobody knows who Lordi is right now.
Yeah, not a lot of people do. But Alice is still rocking, man. Just put out a new album. I mean, I think his work ethic, the way that guy is, he's one of the biggest inspirations to me.
He doesn't have a genre that he sticks to. That's what I respect about him the most. And that's kind of like Gwar. That's why I love Gwar. They have jazz. They have lounge. They have I respect a band that doesn't stick to a genre. Me
too. And retain their identity, no matter if Alice Cooper's singing like a Frank Sinatra style ballad or a rip your face off rock and roll song, like he is still very much Alice Cooper.
Yeah, and he's still singing about
what's cool. Yeah.
He's still singing about life and death.
Absolutely. He's still himself, which is the coolest part,
What did you think of not Welcome to Nightmare, Along Came a Spider, his concept album?
I dug it, man. I dig everything he's done. Honestly, there's not one thing. I mean, there's shit I like more than others, but even the tongue in cheekness of the '80s stuff, I love. The Along Came a Spider album, I think, is really cool, really creative. The sequel to Welcome to My Nightmare is really cool and really creative. Every song on that album is totally different. That's like so it's really almost better than the first Welcome to My Nightmare in that respect, as it really takes you on a journey.
They even have a disco song on that fucking album.
Yeah. That song rules.
Do you know who wrote it?
Isn't Kesha in it with it?
Not on that song, I don't think.
Baby wants. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah. That song was written. The guitar, the disco guitar riff, is actually John 5.
Is it? That makes total sense.
And then his song. It wasn't a Welcome to My Nightmare, but it was Keeping Halloween Alive.
Yeah. Was that with Piggy D?
That was with Piggy D.
Yeah, that's a great song. Even
really good song.
I like his new album too. His Detroit Stories. I mean, that's a concept record surrounding Detroit, and not something I'm super familiar with, but I respect his return to roots kind of thing. It's a great rock and roll album. So yeah.
What I really respect about Alice is when he's on tour, he has a set list, but he will sometimes look at his bandmates and be like, "Okay, we're gonna switch out this song with this song. Do you guys know the song?" And it's after they've already rehearsed.
Yeah, that's so cool. Keeps them on their toes. And his band's fucking awesome, so I have no doubt that they're able to handle that. He has the tightest band ever.
It's crazy.
Tremendous.
Well, the reason why he can do any era now is because he has 3 guitarists, and each one is a different style that they stick to. Like Nita does more of the Kane Roberts soloing type guitar riffs.
For sure.
You've got Ryan who does the rock style, you know what I mean, the hard rock and stuff. And then you have Tommy Henriksen who does the punk rock type shit.
I never thought about that before, man. That's a really good point. That's really cool. Yeah, all that stuff's great. Kane Roberts, I mean, if there's any spokesman for Death Comes Lifting, it's that guy.
He's the spokesman for Death Comes Lifting, for Doyle.
He is pre-Doyle. I like him. He's the GOAT. Is he still around?
Kane, yeah.
Yeah?
He was on Ryan Roxie's podcast a few months ago.
Awesome. Do for you. We should get him on the Death Comes Lifting podcast. What do you think?
I think you should have him on your lifts and riffs.
Yeah, absolutely.
You should get Doyle.
You know what, man? I don't know if I really want Doyle, to be honest. I feel like he's kind of a dick in interviews.
He is.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how about it. I mean, you know how much I love the Misfits, all worship to the Misfits and everything, all respects. And I love Doyle, and I love his look, and he's a total inspiration. He's a bad motherfucker, but I really don't know if I want him on my podcast.
I had an ex one time that interviewed him, and I don't know if he was in a bad mood or what, but Alex, the singer of Doyle, was like, "Good luck," and he left the bus while she was interviewing him, and he was sitting like this, and he just gave, no, didn't really answer any questions, and then at the very end, he's like, "Normally, whenever somebody gives me a shitty interview, I kick them down the steps, but go ahead, you can leave in peace."
Jeez. Yeah, so I feel like it's going to be like that, which, why would he want to be on my podcast anyway? I'm not saying he should, but I never really pursued that. Danzig, though, let's go, even though he'd probably be a dick of an interview, too. I love Danzig.
I saw Danzig live, and he threw a hissy fit because somebody took a picture.
Yeah, I've been in the same situation. I've seen Danzig a few times. He never disappoints in any respect, that one included.
That show was incredible because he was performing, and he was like, "I haven't done this in a very long time, but I'd like to welcome my old friend Doyle Wolfgang von Frankenstein to the stage." And Doyle came out and he did an entire Misfits set. He did the Danzig shit, and then halfway through his set, he switched over to a Misfits set.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I saw that tour as well. It was like a Danzig Legacy show, or is that what it was called? Or
yeah, something like that.
Yeah, that was fucking sweet. So that was great. And then the Misfits reunion shows have been great. I've gotten the pleasure to see 3 or 4 of them. So
we might have went to the same show. It was with Texas Hippie Coalition and Butcher Babies. It was at Stage AE.
Yeah, dude, I was there. Absolutely, man. That's really cool.
It was
Stage AE's the shit.
It was a good. I've been there quite a few times. I actually was the highest I've ever been at a show one time there.
I'm pretty sure I was the same. What show was that?
Alice Cooper, when he was there, I think the last time he was at Stage AE.
If Alice Cooper was at Stage AE, I was there. Anytime he was there, I promise I was there. So
I was on the rail, and Alice threw his cane at me, and I was so high that it hit the rail, went over my head, through my fingers.
Hey man, you tried. You were there. That's true rock and roll spirit. I would be more disappointed if you caught it. So I'm glad you're living your best life, bro.
Right. It was a great show. What's the best concert you've been to? Since I think you're a fellow concert goer like me.
Absolutely. My favorite one, this just the one that stands out. It was one of those cool dates you always remember because it was October 10th, 2010. It was 10-10-10, and it was Alice Cooper, Rob Zombie, and the Murder Dolls at the Johnstown County War Memorial. If you don't know Johnstown, PA, it's in the middle of nowhere. And I don't know why they played this place, but they did, and it was around Halloween. It was a spooky atmosphere, and those were like my 3 favorite bands ever, and it was great.
Was that during the Masters of Madness tour?
I believe it was the Halloween Hootenanny tour.
I was supposed to see Rob and Alice in 2010, so I think I was going to get a show, but I didn't go.
Yeah, that sticks out as my favorite show. Growing up, we went to all the Oz Fests and Mayhem Fests and all that stuff, so I have a lot of fond memories of those kind of things as well. I don't know if I'd call them the best concerts I was ever at, but they were definitely some of the most important,
One of the best shows I went to was actually 2 years ago, I think. It was Iron Maiden with the Raven Age.
Oh,
if you haven't seen Maiden yet, fucking incredible. It was during the Legacy of the Beast tour.
Yeah, I saw one. They came through Pittsburgh on that tour. It was
I was
awesome.
there.
Yeah,
The PNG Arena.
Let's go. Yes. Yeah, good, man. That's cool.
What's hilarious is across the street we went to another show before that one because Zach Sabbath was playing.
I was there too, bro. Come on. What I was talking about. It was the day of heavy metal. Zach Sabbath killed it.
It was funny because Zach Wilde announced that show and it was supposed to be at the same time as Iron Maiden, and then he got smart and he changed it like right before Maiden.
Yeah, he knew every metalhead in Pittsburgh was going to be at Maiden, so he made a show at like 4 o'clock. And it was fucking packed. It was sold out. It was at the theater in Southside, which unfortunately it closed due to the pandemic. I think that might have been the last time I was ever at the Rex. But
oh shit, I didn't know it shut down.
It shut down. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, it's a shame. Yep.
Me and my buddies, we ended up running across the street after that show, and we still made it to the rail during Maiden.
Were you? I was on the floor too. I bet we crossed paths at some point.
Probably. I've been to a lot of shows in Pittsburgh.
Good, man. Me too. I'm
The
sure we've
people
had
here-
quite a few.
I've seen a lot of interesting bands too, like Barry Manilow and shit.
I've also seen Barry Manilow. One of my best concerts I've ever been to that is not metal would be Nick Cave. I don't know if anybody's familiar with him, but he puts on a hell of a live show. Just pure great music and energy. So Nick Cave is also up there. And he came to Pittsburgh once and played, I don't know if you know it, it's the Carnegie Library Music Hall. It's in Homestead. You've been there? Yeah, it's like this real cool old haunted library with this cool stage. And he fucking destroyed it. Absolutely.
The best non-metal act I went to, and I've seen him 4 times now, Weird Al Yankovic.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he's awesome. And I definitely want you to play him in a biopic now.
The last time I saw him, he was like, he went on a tour, and he had no screens, no costume changes, no parodies. It was all originals, all B-sides, and the set list changed every night. That's
really cool.
So, like, there were songs that he ain't done in, like, 20 years that he just dusted off and threw into the set.
That's really – I totally love and respect artists that do that, like Alice Cooper, like how we were talking about before.
Well, Weird Al was like he's like, okay, I'm going to take requests since you guys are drunk and yelling. He's like, I'm going to take a request. What is your request? And everybody yelled. And he's like, okay. And instead he did Saturday Night's the Night for Fighting by Elton John.
Oh, nice. That'd be amazing.
And then another time in the same show, he was like, I'm going to do a Christmas song since Christmas is only 275 days away. He's like, this song is, and everybody yelled The Night Santa Went Crazy. And he's like, okay, nope. He's like, I don't do requests. I'm going to do Christmas at Ground Zero instead.
Oh, that's hilarious, man. Yeah, I would love to see him again. I only got to see him one time, and I think it was at a festival. It wasn't for too long, but he's definitely on my list.
He was at Jamboree in the Hills one year. Did you hear about that?
I did not hear about that. No.
There is a country music festival. Yes, country fucking music festival called Jamboree in the Hills out in Morristown, Ohio, and he played it.
That's really cool. Good for him.
And he didn't know. He ended up in like a cow field, and he's like, "Where the hell am I?" His manager put him there.
Well, that's Weird Al, man. When you're that like that, you can go anywhere.
Well, he ended up getting booed off stage almost.
Yeah, whatever. Those drunk fans don't take no shit.
Well, it was funny because they were all like booing him and hating on him, and Weird Al was like, "Okay, this next song is about a little show that some of you guys might have been on. It's called Jerry Springer."
Big drop on it. Cool, man.
He's like fucking roasting that crowd.
That's funny as hell.
So when's the next episode of Death Comes Lifting?
Podcast?
Yep.
We got we got lifts and riffs come out every Friday. We got a couple of those in the can, so we got every Friday on those. Every Sunday I do my Sabbath Sunday podcast with the Lifting Dead Army. You can join on Patreon if you want to come in and join the Zoom meeting. We have a good time. And then my own, just the Death Comes Lifting podcast. It's just whenever I can. And we're filming YouTube videos right now, and those should all be up within the end of the month. But going into summer, the Texas Chainsaw program is going to be for summer. So we're prepping all that now.
For anyone that wants to check out Death Comes Lifting, their podcast is on Spotify and all other streaming services. And you can catch them on YouTube. Here's all of their links. If you want to keep up with Death Comes Lifting, go ahead and follow them in all links. And you can check out their website. Is there anything else you would like to promote before we start wrapping this up?
Just my love for all the freaks out there that have been following me and us, and you too for having me on. Thank you. And just don't stop being you guys.
You're always you're always welcome to come on my pink sock.
Awesome, man. I'll be back and come.
One more thing. I listened to Headless Cross yesterday.
And
I actually quite liked it.
It's fucking
so
awesome.
Many heavy riffs on that album.
Yes, and I'm glad you brought that up. Everybody out there, my final words to you are listen to Black Sabbath, but especially listen to Headless Cross by Black Sabbath.
Another thing they should listen to if you are a Sabbath fan, it is very underrated. It is Geezer Butler's solo band.
Absolutely. GZR.
Yeah, they are fucking amazing.
Yeah, they're everything associated with Sabbath we love. And if you want to know more about our obsession with Sabbath, you can check out the Death Comes Lifting Sabbath Sunday podcast.
Which Garak is also on. He's on our kind of podcast.
He's the homie. Yes. Thank you for everything, Adam. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I had a great time.
He's like the Monica Lewinsky of like podcasts. He came on My Pink Sock and now he's famous. I don't know what's.
You made me famous, bro.
You're the Rock.
What the hell?
2 podcasters awake now.
Hey, Doof Warrior, why are you backstage again?
I don't know.
You're sharing your screen. Anyway, it was nice talking to you, Crypt Keeper. Come back on sometime. You're allowed on anytime.
All right, man. I'll be in touch. That's so cool. Love you guys. Peace.
Death comes socking. Bye. Greg, great episode. I want everyone to go ahead and hit the subscribe button for Pink Sock Podcast and for more exclusive content on Pink Sock Podcast. We have big shows coming up. We have Ryan ROXIE coming on here in the next couple weeks. I will show the promotional material next week on the show. Doof Warrior, are you going to be joining us next week?
Yeah.
And we do have an announcement to make. Unfortunately, as you noticed, Tony's not with us. It has something to do with school, but I believe it's either the Ryan ROXIE episode or the episode after that. Tony will no longer be a part of Pink Sock temporarily. Hopefully it's temporarily. I wish him the best in his schooling. We're still going to be living together. You'll still see him on my Snapchat and shit. It's just his school is conflicting with the time of the show, and I don't want to confuse people further by changing the time or the day. So Garak over here is going to be the new co-host of the show. We love Tony. He's going to be on in future episodes and hopefully be back, but he's got to focus on school, and I appreciate that. I respect that.
You can always, cut him in.
Yeah, I was thinking do like a video. Hi guys.
And just have like his laugh. Just cut out snippets of his laugh.
Yeah, that ant laugh.
Yeah.
But we had Zach on the show just now. You go check him out on Death Comes Lifting. We love that guy. He has a great podcast. It's as good as Pink Sock. I'm not going to say it's better. It might be. But
check him out, guys. Check him out, and check out his merch as well.
You got some merch? Yeah, check out his merch. He has some great horror movie merch. He does his own artwork too, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to get beanies for this show and like shirts.
Oh yes, Pink Sock beanies. I'm down for that.
Pink Sock merchandise. I'm thinking about making a website, but I don't know if I should do like a Mike Usnick website, like for my comedy and everything, and my own YouTube channel, or do a Pink Sock podcast website.
I don't know. I still reckon t-shirts would be good.
T-shirts. I was gonna get the one like it's gonna be like a work shirt if I can get them made that has like Pink Sock right here, and on the back it says "Ask me about my pink sock."
Yeah, I'm down with that. Or tank tops for summertime.
I have a really badass Alice Cooper work shirt. I don't know if you've seen it yet or not.
I think I have. I've seen you wearing it a few times.
Yeah, it has like "Raise the Dead" on the back. But yeah, all the best to Tony. He's gonna be here hopefully next week. I don't know, depending on what school's doing. We're gonna miss him, but he's gonna still be a part of it. He's still gonna be a big part of it. But go subscribe to Pink Sock if you haven't already. Well, Mike Usnick, my official YouTube channel, and keep an eye open because I might be getting back into stand-up comedy soon. I might. I was thinking about it.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm going to talk about. You're going to join me? You're going to be like the Australian Rock and Sock connection? But much love to all you guys. Go check out Death Comes Lifting. Check out Catfight Coffee. We are not sponsored yet, but AC, listen to me, brother. If you want to sponsor Pink Sock Podcast, let me know because we would more than gladly do that because I do drink Catfight every episode. We have some in there that brewed before we went live. It's probably cold by now, but Catfight tastes good cold or warm. And they have some great merchandise. Let me see that Catfight shirt again. Oh, that's
this is so comfortable.
That's sexy. That cat has like the David Bowie lightning bolt going on too.
Yeah.
But
I like it.
We're heading out. Remember, live long, rock hard. Thank you to all of our Patreons. Thank you to everybody in the chat. We appreciate you. It is much love. We will be back next week with Garak. We don't have a guest next week. So it's just going to be me, Garak, and possibly Tony bullshitting like we do and talking about the future of the podcast. Much love. Pink Sock's not going anywhere unless you put lotion on it. Which you can buy. Which you can buy. Which you can buy from deathcomeslifting.com. All right, I'll see you, brother. Much love. Live long.
Yeah, everybody.